Hello. I thought today I would talk about my nail care routine. I feel that nail care is a good basis for healthy manicure. Just like I feel that skincare is the best basis for a good-looking makeup application. So I do change my manicures often, probably once every 3 days. So I'm always doing nail care, and unfortunately I'm rather hard on my nails. I do know a lot of women who take care of their manicures partly by not using their fingernails as tools. I have just never gotten out of that habit, so I try my best to take care of them even though I'm very hard on them. So the first thing that I do is I use a nail polish remover, obviously, to get off all of the old polish. And one of my tools there is these inexpensive cleansing pads that you can typically find at your local dollar store or like a Big Lots or any of those sort of clearance houses. There's no reason to spend more than about $1 or maybe $1.25 for these types of cleansing pads. And I like these because they have a rough surface that helps you to get the nail polish off. So I tend to get these a few packs at a time and have those handy. And then of course, when you're using a nail polish remover, 100% acetone, and this is just the Studio 35 brand that you can find at like your Rite Aid or CVS type of drugstore. 100% acetone will remove everything, glitter, multiple layers, things like that. If you don't have a stubborn manicure, i.e. no glitter or tons of layers, then you can use a non-acetone nail polish remover. This is just the Rite Aid house brand. And it's a little bit less harsh on your nails. However, after removing your nail polish, I always wash my hands, whether I'm using acetone or non-acetone, just because it will leave a white film around your fingers and it will dry out your hands. So after washing my hands and after removing my manicure and washing my hands, the next step is a good moisturizer. I really like this Vaseline Healthy Hand and Nail Moisturizer. It's pretty inexpensive. It's very moisturizing. It has a pleasant smell. It's a thin formula, so it really kind of penetrates into the cuticles and the nails and keeps everything nicely moisturized. What I do is I just put this on and then I rub it all over my hands, but then I spend some time just kind of massaging my cuticle area here and rubbing it into my nail and cuticle area, and I just do that for every finger. Then I let that soak in for a good 10 minutes or something like that. Another thing I like to do is to use a strengthener, and this is the Nail Mineral Collection Power Growth. This is just kind of a generic formula. They usually have vitamins and minerals. It soaks into the nail and wipes off. So I just, you don't have to be too precise with these. They also have ones that apply like a base coat. I like the ones that soak into the nail a little bit better. I've been using this for about 6 months now. I actually have noticed that my nails, which tend to be a little bit thin and flexible, have been stronger. So, but I can't say empirically if it is from this strengthener or if it's just from the fact that I've been, keeping them well cared for and manicured. It rubs into the nail, so I just go ahead and I rub it into the nail after I've applied it, and it leaves the nail with a matte finish that tends to be very sticky and well accepting of a base coat. So actually this is part of getting my manicure to last longer, is using one of these types of soak-in nail strengtheners. Then the next step at this point is optional. If you need to shape your nail or buff your nail at all, you can use a tool like this. This is the one that I like. It has a rough surface, a slightly less rough surface, and then it has kind of a graduated series of surfaces for buffing the top of your nail. This is for shaping your nail, and then these are for buffing. I have ridges on my nails. My nails have been ridged since birth. So occasionally, like probably every third or fourth manicure, I will take this step one, this very mild abrasive surface, and I will go over my nails, and literally I just do, you know, and that's it. When you have ridges, you don't want to buff the ridges completely away, because all you're doing is thinning out your nail that much more. All you want to do is just kind of even them out a little bit, so that you just get a little bit better gripping surface for your manicure. Over time, this sort of gentle, let's call it exfoliation, this sort of gentle exfoliation will help you with your ridges, and I have noticed that mine have decreased significantly. So my favorite base coat is the Sinful Colors base coat. It's a very, it's not completely matte, but it's not a shiny finish, and it goes on very easily and has a very mild sort of light beige color to it that doesn't tend to interfere with manicure colors. With my base coat, I put that from, you know, the base of the fingernail to the top. I don't really worry too much about getting it over into my cuticles since it's a very thin coat. It also helps to fill in my ridges and give me a smooth surface for my manicure, which is good. Okay, now cuticle maintenance. I personally do not believe that you should cut cuticles at all. They are there for a reason. They help to prevent infection and protect the nail. However, after, you know, removing your manicure and applying the lotion and, you know, putting in the strengthener and everything, your cuticles are more pliable, so you can push them back. Using an orange stick, or if you have one of those scooped out spoon tools, which I wish I had but I don't, or, you know, anything like that, you could just kind of gently, very gently push them back. You can even use your own fingernails to push them back, and basically you would just gently push them back from the base of the nail. And then you can use clippers to clean up any hangnails that you might have, any skin peeling back from the sides of your nails. Just, you know, cut those off and get those cleaned up. Not, you know, obviously avoid cutting too deeply. You don't want to be having any, you know, cuts or bleeding along the nails. Then you would put on your manicure, and after you're done with your manicure, you can use a cuticle conditioner. There's a couple of different kinds. This is an olive oil based cuticle conditioner, and it's, you know, basically olive oil with a few things in there to help kind of help it to evaporate, if that makes sense, or soak into the skin. So something like this is handy to keep around, and then you basically just dab it around the cuticle area, and you work it in the same way that you did the strengthener, and then you just leave it on your nails. You don't have to wash it off. The other option is this Burt's Bees Lemon Butter Cuticle Cream, and a lot of people who do not like the oils prefer this type of solution because it's a hard wax that you can work out. You can either scoop some out with the cuticle tool, or you can just warm it up with your finger, and then you would rub this into your cuticle area. And it has a very pleasant smell. It has a really soothing, cooling sensation. It works into the skin very easily, and it's just really, really nice. It also shines up the skin around your nails, so it looks kind of pretty. But if you know, just want a really quick application, then this sort of cuticle oil is the way to go. I would say the one disadvantage to this cuticle oil is that it does make your hands look shiny, and, you know, some people feel like they have to wash it off before they can do anything else, whereas this is kind of like you put it on and you're ready to go. You don't have to do anything else. So it's really up to you which one you prefer. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I hope you found this information useful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.